Alright, YouTube family, it's your boy Superman 2000. I'm in the fight so fucking. I can't do the fight here tonight. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm too tired. No, I'm just hearing that Michael Bisping is gonna be filling in for Chris Weidman. That's something I'm looking forward to. Now, I may have called the Mike Stippy Mike kick on Weird versus Weird Doom wrong. But this one I know I'm gonna call right. I do not have Bisping winning. I think Rockhold is gonna rip him apart because it's on short notice. He didn't have a full training camp. Now I know Nate Diaz is the exception to the rule, but he had a lot going for him. He's used to taking Nate Diaz was is used to taking fights on short notice. That was his thing. That was the only way he could make a living in the UFC. So he took whatever he could get to fight. Okay, but this is different. Michael Bisping does not have a full training camp. He's gonna walk in the ring with Luke Rockhold now. Don't get me wrong. His last win over Anderson Silva was good. He tagged Anderson Silva 2 times. But one thing I noticed was that Anderson Silva was picking him apart, blooding him up real good. And the only time that he struck Anderson Silva was when Anderson Silva started doing the hand dance and showboat and stuff. That was when he'd tag him. So I'd have given him a chance if he had a full training camp. But that type of short notice, it's not gonna work out well, and that's why a lot of fighters in the UFC they stop taking these short notice fights because they realize, hey, it's not enough time to train properly. It's not enough time to execute properly. So, and that one, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it to Rockhold and call it a day, just because of the shortness of the camp. No, next thing that really disturbed me, you know, that Maynard fight where he got ripped off. I watched it over and over again. Bellator 155, by the way. For those of you not sure what I'm talking about because of my thick accent. So Bellator 155. I suspect Minaf got ripped off. I looked at the scorecard. It was 48, 47, 48, 47 all the way down in favor of the champ. And I was like, no, no, no. I watched the fight over and over again, and I didn't even score it that way. I scored it differently. I mean, I scored it 48, 46 favor of Madoff, and that was being generous to the champ. So it was like that was like a major ripoff. I mean, these judges they need to be better trained, but at this point, there's nothing he can do more than just try and get a rematch or something. But we'll see how that works out. All right, so now we got that bit of business out the way. Next bit of business on the agenda. So we covered the next bit of business on the agenda is the rematch between John Jabone Jones and Daniel Cormier. Now I went back in preparation for this video and I watched a lot of Daniel Cormier fights, watched a lot of John Jones fights, and as much as a lot of people want John Jones to lose, he's not gonna lose. He's gonna win. And here's why. Even though his first fight, when he came back, that fight that he did against, come on, do it. His name's on the tip of my tongue. Hang on 1 second. Let me keep talking. It will come to me. That first, that's the guy's name. Saint over him. Saint. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Not Saint Pierre. Okay, the guy's name was STP. Is what they call him. All right, but you know what I'm talking about. He ranked number 6. Big dude. He's a slugger. Saint Pierre. Saint over him. Yeah, Saint something. Yeah, but you know who I'm talking. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired, so don't expect too much from me, memory wise. But if he broke that guy's arm at 20% of his fighting ability with a head kick and broke his arm, That means that his power and striking ability has increased tremendously. Now I went back and I watched the fight with Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson versus Daniel Cormier, right? Cormier tripped him and was dominating him with the wrestling. But I kept noticing something. As much as Cormier likes to pretend he's an up and up clean fighter, John Jones will poke you in the eye and that type of stuff. But Daniel Cormier, he was grabbing on Ben Henderson. Then he was grabbing on the trunks of Dan Henderson. If you go ahead and watch the fight again, and you'll see it that all the while they're on the ground, he's reaching over him and behind him and grabbing on the seam of his trunks to keep him on the ground. The ref didn't say that, so that was his dirty tactic of keeping Henderson on the ground and dominating him. Otherwise, he would have had to go to a strikeout. Now, the reason why I said John Jones is gonna win is that Jones has gotten the ring time. This first fight that he did, that gave him the ring time to feel out what he's what he's capable of, time to see where the holes in his games are, and time to fine tune. Daniel Cormier, I mean, when was his last fight? Who did he last fight? A point exactly. My point exactly. Okay. Yes, he had a training camp. Yes, he's been training and all that stuff. No problem. I totally get that. But Jones has been training like he's going into a championship fight all this time he's been off. So Daniel Cormier, as good as a wrestler as he is, I believe that Jones' size is just his size and his reach and the way he manages distance he's gonna get the win over Daniel Cormier again. In fact, I believe it's gonna play out like King Mo versus Phil Davis that type of deal. You know, cause Daniel Cormier is gonna go in there with just like all this, whereas John Jones, he probably gonna go in there and rush to. But his first fight back, I noticed one thing about him. He wasn't anxious. He wasn't putting pressure on himself. He said he was just watching to see how he was reacting and to gauge his if he was fighting at his ability to just gauge himself to see what he was doing. And that tells me that he's patient and he will stick to his game plan. Notice the fight with Alexander Gustafsson. He was getting just the smack beat out of him, but he didn't panic. He didn't say, "Oh, I have to do something now and make a rash decision." He just stayed consistent, stuck to his game plan, and then fought his way back a little at a time. And I believe that's one of the reasons why it's going to be hard for Daniel Cormier to beat him. In fact, I don't even think Daniel Cormier is going to beat him. I'm calling it for John Jones right now. I mean, hey, I'm getting bold these days with calling for the wrong people, but I'm calling it this one for John Jones. Definitely. Now, shout out as always to my main man SlamX976. We're supposed to do a Google Hangout joint video together soon coming up. But I got my old. I'm working on getting a new phone later on because I'm rocking the iPhone 4S at blazing 3G speeds. So when I get my new phone, we'll hook that up. And in the meantime, Michael McDonald, I've champion MMA. I'm supposed to be rolling with him soon in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And yes, those of you who know him and know me, you know he's a blue belt and you know I'm a white belt. But yeah, I can still roll. I'm bad enough to roll with him. Why? Because even when I lose and get tapped out, I have to tap all those times, I will learn. And that's how my skills will improve. And that will give me a good opportunity to see if I want to get in my car and drive down off the hill where I live every weekend, once or twice a week, to go roll with them and get my training up. As time go by, I'm going to be doing more training outside of my home. And instead of people driving up to me where I live, I'm going to be going down to where they are, go to different training camps and get my skills up. All right, guys, that's my 2 cents from the fight chair. Peace out.